So that's the official letter from the president?
This is the official letter from George Bush, dated October 1990. I was really glad that apology was made. You know, it was long overdue, but I'm glad it was done.
I appreciated the apology. I'm only sorry that my husband was not living to accept it, as he was completely upset when the FBI came and took his father away simply because he was a kendo instructor.
The $20,000 we got was only for those who are living, and unfortunately those who passed away did not qualify that amount at all. And I think it was really kind of sad, because I think they deserved it more than us children. With our experience, it was just in such a short time, there was so much loss. So we had to be compensated for something. So much loss in such a short period of time. Yeah, and it took, even on our farm, it took almost 20 years to get the place back in order and to catch up.
I appreciated the $20,000, but I didn't think that it paid for all that we went through, especially for my parents.
I had the privilege to testify at the redress hearings established by the Congressional Commission for Japanese American Redress in 1981. That was a very important event for our community because it gathered together Japanese American communities collectively across the country. For me, here in the San Francisco Bay Area, where we were able to share our stories in a way that had not been heard before publicly. That event led then to the passage of the Civil Liberties Act in 1988, which of course we celebrated as a community, and for me personally and as a clergy person has informed the ways we understand our presence here in the world as Japanese Americans and the indivisibility of justice.
I have always thought that this redress was the least that our government could do for unjustly imprisoning the Issei, Nisei, and Kibe. I believe that blacks and indigenous people also deserve similar reparations for enslavement and confiscations of native lands. I think that black and brown people also have more immediate needs, such as Black Lives Matter, a living minimum wage, better access to COVID vaccines and other medical care, better educational opportunities, and better access to housing.
So you think that it should be, for it to be complete, it has to be public apology from the government and a check?
For the African Americans and the indigenous people, I think it has to be both.
The experience of the internment for me, I was so young as I was born there in Topaz. It really came back to me one night. Actually, we were going to take a vote about becoming a sanctuary church, which meant that we would be open to receiving and accompanying immigrants through our church ministries. As we were all discussing it, there were some who questioned whether we should or not. And when it came to my turn, I could only remember that Buena Vista was a sanctuary for our family as we returned from camp, and we had no place to go. And so we lived there for many years, and that opened or allowed our church to open our space to immigrant families, and then most recently opening our parsonage to immigrant prisoners who were just recently released from San Quentin.
We have been forever indebted to the black community for the leadership of the Civil Rights Movement, for without the Civil Rights Movement there would have been no Civil Liberties Act of 1988. And so it is only fitting justice that we be in support of African Americans as they pursue the establishment of a commission and also a process of reparations for African Americans. I believe moving forward with the establishment of the commission will provide the adequate public space in which African Americans can testify to the intergenerational long-term impacts of the legacy of slavery upon their families and communities, and therefore be a first step towards the reparations movement.
I think it's an opportunity to have our young people, who are the future of our world, to connect with other people, open their hearts and their minds, and gives them an opportunity to have a voice in how they live their lives and how we as a country can live our lives.